Okay, good evening and welcome to tonight's final webinar in our International Trade and Border Management webinar series. I'd like to start by thanking everyone for attending this webinar. I can see there's a number of people logged on in Uganda and other places around the world. I'll introduce our presenter. Brian Thomas is a former customs officer. He has 36 years' experience with the Australian Customs Service. He's a specialist consultant in tariff classification, review, development and application of tariff policy and systems, and tariff-related staff development. Brian has been involved with the Australian Harmonised Tariff since 1983, and his range of experience extends across the fields of tariff publication, tariff legislation, administration and training. He has designed and delivered both national and international training across a range of tariff-related subjects to a wide audience of customs officials and industry personnel. I'm going to hand you over to Brian now, but just before I do, I'd just like to ask you, if you do have a tariff in front of you, just open it at heading 4403, as Brian will be addressing this heading later in the webinar. So, over to Brian now.
Thank you, Lily, and hello to you all. It's good to have you with us. Today I want to talk on a particular aspect of tariff structure, which I consider very important. Many just take it for granted, but I think it is an integral part of the structure, and its understanding is a key to navigating your way through the subheading hierarchy. I will keep this at the international level, the first 6 figures. Let's look at two classifications, heading 8421 and subheading 900220. In part, heading 8421 refers to filtering or purifying machinery and apparatus for liquids or gases. Subheading 900220 refers to filters. Let's start off with a question. Where is a domestic water filter classified? The answer is heading 8421. But why? The answer lies in the terms of heading 8421, but it could be argued that the term filters also covers the goods. However, subheading 900220 is qualified by heading 9002, and heading 9002 has nothing to do with water filters. It covers lenses, prisms, mirrors and similar optical elements. So the filters of subheading 900220 are those goods that are used in conjunction with optical equipment. You cannot compare subheading 900220 with heading 8421. You may only compare heading 9002 with heading 8421. Only compare heading with a heading. Why is that? Rule 1 of the interpretation or interpretive rules gives us the answer. It is the second part of the Rule 1 that is the important factor. In part, it directs that the classification of goods shall be determined according to the terms of the headings. In the same way, we can only compare a subheading with other subheadings. Why? Again, the answer is given to us by the interpretation rules, in this case Rule 6. Here the last words are important. They are, on the understanding that only subheadings at the same level are comparable. So what does that mean? It means that you can only compare a 5-figure subheading with another 5-figure subheading. You can only compare a 6-figure subheading with a 6-figure subheading. Let's try something else. Let's look at the international structure for heading 8450. There are 6 international classifications under this heading. First, there is a 5-figure subheading, then follows 3 6-figure subheadings, then there are 2 5-figure subheadings. Another question. What is the classification of a fully automatic washing machine that has a capacity of 12 kilograms? The answer is subheading 845020. Did anybody think it is subheading 845011, which describes fully automatic machines? Note that although subheading 845011 covers fully automatic machines, that classification is a subheading, or if you prefer, subdivision of subheading 8451, which relates to machines having a capacity not greater than 10 kg. Therefore, the six-figure subheading 845011 is not applicable. We do not have to consider subheading 845011 or the two other six-figure classifications, that is 8451.2 or 8451.9, because we have found our answer at the five-figure subheading level. In other words, we cannot compare subheading 845011 with subheading 845020 because they are not of the same level in the subheading hierarchy. One is a six-figure subheading, the other is a five-figure subheading. All we have to do in the first instance is to compare the five-figure subheadings. They are subheadings 8451, 845020, and 845090. When you have done that, it is easy to see that the answer is subheading 845020. Does anybody notice anything in common between the five-figure subheading level classifications? Each has a 1- before the product description. We'll get back to that shortly. Again, in interpreting the subheading structure, Interpretation Rule 6 gives us the direction. Compare only five-figure subheadings with five-figure subheadings. Compare only six-figure subheadings with six-figure subheadings. Therefore, the procedure is select the appropriate five-figure subheading. If the five-figure subheading is further subdivided, then proceed to compare the six-figure subheadings. If the five-figure subheading is not further subdivided, we have our answer at the five-figure level. In an effort to assist in the comparison of subheadings, the HS uses a system of dashes to differentiate between five and the six-figure subheadings. The dash system is an inherent feature of the HS. It assists with the selection of the appropriate subheading. In the international HS nomenclature, five-figure subheadings are preceded by one dash and six-figure subheadings are preceded by two dashes. Look at our heading 8450 example. You will see that all the five-figure subheadings have one dash and all the six-figure subheadings have two dashes. Let's look at another heading. Let's look at the HS structure for heading 9506. Again, five-figure subheadings are preceded by one dash and six-figure subheadings are preceded by two dashes. You will see there that most of the five-figure subheadings are further subdivided. This is the first part of the subheading structure. We can't get all of the subheading structure for a 9506 in the one screen and have it be readable. This is the second part of the 9506 subheading structure. Again, to restate our method when working through the subheadings, at first only compare the one dash subheadings. When a five-figure subheading has been determined, look to see if it is further subdivided into six-figure subheadings, signified by two dashes. If so, then compare only the two dash subheadings that are within the structure of the selected one dash subheading. To work through this principle, consider the subheading structure for heading 9506 and look at the classification of a baseball bat. A baseball bat is classified within heading 9506 as it is an article for sports. In order to determine the correct classification, the classifier first examines the one dash subheadings, that is, 1. Snow skis and other snow equipment, 2. water skis, surfboard and similar equipment. 3. Golf clubs and other golf equipment. 40. Articles and equipment for table tennis. 5. Tennis, badminton or similar rackets. 6. Balls other than golf balls and table tennis balls. And 70. Ice skates and roller skates. And finally the residual 9, other. That's a mouthful. We have now listed all of the 5-figure subheadings, and in doing so, in this instance, we have halved the amount of information that we have to initially consider. So what is the answer? As the goods are not mentioned in subheadings 95061 to 95070, the only option is 95069. Having established the 1- or 5-figure subheading, the next step is to examine the 2- subheadings within that 5-figure subheading. All the other information within heading 9506 may be disregarded. There are only two 2- subheadings within 95069. As the baseball bat is not an article or equipment for general physical exercise, gymnastics or athletics, the answer is subheading 950699. Let's look at a further example. Let's consider the first part of the subheading structure of 9506 and determine the 6-figure subheading for a surfboard. In the first instance, all we need do is to compare the 1- or 5-figure subheadings. There are 4 of them on this screen: 95061, 95062, 95063 and 9506040. Surfboards are included within the product description of subheading 95062. Subheading 95062 is further subdivided into 2 6-figure subheadings, each represented by 2 dashes. The goods are not a sailboard of subheading 950621, therefore the goods are classified within the residual subheading 950629. In addition to the dash system being used to reduce the amount of text to be examined, use of the dash system is also an excellent way to overcome areas of the classification structure where there is a repetition of particular words. As there is a classification within the HS for all goods involved in international trade, a feature of the HS structure is the provision of many residual headings and subheadings. Residual headings and subheadings are required to accommodate the vast number of products that do not merit individual recognition within the HS nomenclature. Residual subheadings and headings are normally denoted by the word other. In my experience, classifiers have often had problems coming to terms with the word other. As the word other frequently appears as a goods description, care must be taken not to select the wrong other. For example, consider heading 4403 with a means to working our way through the subheading structure. If you have it, it may be useful to have a copy of this in front of you, as Lily suggested earlier on. If not, there is a copy on the screen now. There are 5 occurrences of the word other within the structure of heading 4403. They are 440320, 4403.4, 4403.49, 4403.9 and 4403.99. Don't get too focused on the names of the wood, the botanical names. Our aim is to work out which other relates to what, and the dashes will assist us in this. Heading 4403 contains 4 5-figure subheadings, or in other words, 4 1-dash subheadings. They are 440310, 440320, 44034 and 44039. Each of those has 1 dash in front of them. Let's look at each of these. Having regard to the terms of heading 4403, which essentially describes wood in the rough, subheading 440310 captures all wood that is treated with paint, stains, creosote or similar preserving substances. In other words, regardless of the type of wood, if it is so undergone that treatment, it is classified within subheading 440310. That's the first description to get past. Once the products of subheading 440310 have been accounted for, the next step is to examine what is covered by the terms of subheading 440320, which is the next 1-dash subheading. Again, having regard to the terms of heading 4403, subheading 440320 indicates other coniferous. The question to ask is, other than what? Why not just say coniferous? What is the significance of that other? It means all the wood of the coniferous family that is not treated by the substances described in subheading 440310. Coniferous just means the wood of cone-bearing trees, for example, fir trees, spruce, cedar. All of these types of trees have cones. Their seeds are in the form of cones. Once the products of subheading 440320 have been accounted for, the next step is to examine what is covered by the terms of the next 1-dash subheading, which is subheading 44034. There is no subheading 44033. Again, having regard to the terms of heading 4403, subheading 44034 covers other of tropical wood. What tropical wood? In this case, the wood that is not treated by the substances described in subheading 440310, and also which is defined by subheading note 2 to chapter 44. In this context, it should be noted that subheading 44034 covers only the tropical wood that is listed in subheading note 2. There are many other species of tropical wood that are not listed within that subheading note. These species of tropical wood are not classified within subheading 44034. This subheading is different from the previous two. It is further subdivided. It has two 2-dash subheadings. Within subheading 44034, the harmonised system separately acknowledges 3 types of wood, 3 varieties of the wood Meranti. Hence the requirement for a 6-figure or 2-dash subheading, being subheading 440341. That is the first 2-dash subheading within subheading 44034. Having done that, the harmonised system needs to make provision for all the remaining tropical wood that is set out within the subheading note 2. Therefore, we have a need for the residual 6-figure subheading 440349. And this is our second 2-dash subheading within that 1-dash subheading. Finally, there is the last 1-dash subheading. It is the residual 5-figure subheading 44039, which captures all of the wood of heading 4403 that is not specified within the terms of 440310, 440320 and 44034. Within subheading 44039, the harmonised system has seen the need to separately acknowledge two types of wood and has thus created two separate six-figure, or if you like, two separate 2- subheadings. They are 440391 and 440392, which accommodate wood of the oak tree and wood of the beech tree respectively. Again, having done that, the harmonised system has to make provision for all the other wood other than oak or beech that has not been treated with preservatives, is not coniferous wood or tropical wood. Therefore, we have the need for the last residual six-figure subheading 440399, and this is the third 2- subheading. Having examined the subheading structure within heading 4403, how now do we decide which particular wood goes where? The answer lies in the correct use of the dash system and being able to differentiate between one residual or other subheading from another. Let's try an example. Let's try to classify mahogany. Mahogany is defined as being a tropical wood by virtue of subheading note 2 to chapter 44. All we have to do in the first instance is to compare the 1- subheadings. Let's look at these. The goods have not been treated, therefore we can disregard subheading 440310. The goods are not coniferous, therefore we can disregard subheading 440320. The goods are in fact a fine tropical wood, therefore the wood is classified within subheading 44034. Having said that, we now know it is classified in one of the two 2- subheadings, either 41 or 49, that belong to subheading 44034. The wood is not described within 440341, therefore the correct answer is that the goods are classified within subheading 440349. Let's try another, jarrah. Jarrah belongs to the eucalypt family. The various types of eucalypts which are found a lot in Australia are neither coniferous nor tropical. Again, the first thing we do is to compare the 1- subheadings. The goods have not been treated, therefore we can disregard subheading 440310. The goods are not coniferous, therefore we can disregard subheading 440320. The goods are not tropical wood, therefore we can disregard subheading 44034. Having done that, the only option that is left is subheading 44039, which is wood other than those of subheadings 10, 20 and 4. Under subheading 44039 there are three 2- subheadings. Eucalypt woods are not oak and they're not beech. Therefore the goods are classified within subheading 440399. Let's try one last one. Let's look at light red Meranti that has been treated with creosote. Again, we compare the 1- subheadings. Although the various types of Meranti are tropical woods as defined by subheading note 2, subheading 44034 covers other of tropical woods. Other than what, we may ask? In this instance, tropical woods that are not classified within subheading 440310. However, subheading 440310 covers any wood that is treated with creosote. The goods are therefore classified within 440310, and there is no need to consider any other subheading. That's been a mouthful and fairly technical, but that's as far as I wish to go today. If there are any questions, I would be pleased to answer them. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Brian, for that very detailed presentation. I will give everyone just a few minutes to type in their questions should they want to ask any. I expect there will be some. It's quite a detailed presentation. So I'll just be muting us for a moment, so go ahead and type in your questions. Okay guys, thanks for your patience there, and I can see a number of questions have come through. I'm not sure that we will have time to answer all of them tonight, as it is quite a detailed topic area. So if we don't get around to your question, I apologise in advance, but Brian has just very kindly said that he can get back to you later in the next few days, so we will do that. Okay, so the first question tonight is, can customs administrations make use of the dash system in their national tariffs? So I'll hand the mic over to Brian now to answer that.
Yes, they can, and most tend to follow this arrangement. The generally accepted protocol is for administrations to go to a further 2 figures in their national tariffs, that is to 7 and 8 figures in addition to the international 6-figure system. When they do this, administrations put 3 dashes in front of the 7-figure classifications and 4 dashes in front of the 8-figure classification. The principle of comparing national subheadings at the same level in the hierarchy is therefore maintained.
Okay, great. Thanks, Brian. In fact, just looking at the time tonight, we do only have time for one more question, but it's quite a good question, so I think it may take a little bit of time to explain. So again, as I said, if we don't get around to all of your questions tonight, Brian will have a look at them and get back to you over the next few days. So the next question we have tonight is, why do some subheadings have a 0 as the 6th figure?
Okay, thanks for that. Well, I suppose the answer really is that the harmonised system is an international 6-figure system. That's how it was written. Therefore, it's expressed to 6 figures. If the authors of the harmonised system do not see the need to subdivide down to the 6-figure level, and they haven't in every case, they use the 0 to complete the 6-figure number arrangement. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Right, so we will wrap it up there. What a detailed presentation, Brian. Oh, sorry, a few other things have just popped up. Just bear with me a minute, guys, so that I can sort through these. We'll get back to you in just a moment. Okay, guys, yeah, I'm not sure that we are going to get through all the questions tonight, so we will wrap it up there. A few comments have come in through the chat box. People just thanking us for the series. It is the last one tonight, so yes, I can see that a lot of you have attended nearly all of our 6 topics, which is great, and I thank you so much for your support and your comments and questions throughout the series over the last 6 weeks. Oh, sorry, no, 12 weeks it's been. In saying that, I think we're actually on time tonight, which is great. Thanks, Brian, again for a very detailed presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it, and judging by the comments, everyone has enjoyed this topic and the whole series. Tomorrow, as usual, I will be sending you a survey, so please take the time to complete it, as we do strongly value your opinions. I'd just like to add that the Centre for Customs and Excise Studies here at the University of Canberra offers Harmonised System Tariff as a postgraduate elective in our Master of International Customs Law and Administration, as well as our Master of International Revenue Administration, as well as our graduate certificates and diplomas. We also offer Harmonised System Tariff as a non-award vocational training course or short course And these courses are available all year round and can be tailored to suit the needs of your administration. So if that is something you're interested in, please send me an email directly so that we can start communication about this. We will be running more webinars before the end of the year. I think I have about 4 more scheduled. You would have seen the details of them in the email I sent out earlier this week. The next one is New and Emerging Roles of Customs Regulation of Offshore Oil and Gas Installations. And this one will be run on Wednesday the 31st of October 2012 at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That is Greenwich Mean Time plus 10 hours. And it will be run by our senior lecturer, Mikhail Kashubsky. So in saying that, please get onto our website to register for more webinars. I will be sending out another reminder in the next couple of weeks. Thanks again for your support and attending our series, our International Trade and Border Management series. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Thanks very much.